Alright, tank's still full of super and there's no bung in it.
Yeah, she's full.
And yeah, I gotta put a sump in it anyway, so love the smell of soup in the morning.
Oh, she's stale. It smells like molasses.
Welcome back to Backyard Builds. So this week, this episode is going to be a little bit out of sequence. We actually filmed this right before Christmas. So it was actually the weekend after we did Tom's HG exhaust. So this week's episode will be the exhaust on my wagon. We also have a look into how we're going to make the shifter work. We've had to go from like hard linkage to cable just due to the 727 and those extractors, those pacemaker extractors. So we're going to try for one episode a week this year, see how we go. There's obviously going to be a few limiting factors such as work and things like that, and availability. So Tom's got some stuff he needs to do this year as well. He's actually planning a trip to Cape York, so he's doing a canopy. He's also picked up a few other little jobs, so we'll probably film them as well, give it a bit of variety for you guys. So this week's my wagon. Next week we're going to jump back to the truck for an episode. I've been managing to get probably 2 to 4 hours every day on the truck. So it's progressing reasonably well. Pretty happy with how it's going. So all the rear's done, but this week's episode is the wagon exhaust. So please enjoy. Welcome to this week's episode. We're back out at Saxon's farm again. Cheers, Saxon. Even brought a Zupa Dupas, what a top load. Wagon's up on the hoist today, so gonna try and do the exhaust, fuel system and brake system while it's out here on the hoist, just to make it easy. So through the week we've got pacemakers fitted up. Yep, they're on there, sort of. So gonna need a little bit of modification. I have been told that they were never designed to go with a 727 after I got them. So they do touch the transpan on full lock, they touch the bell housing, and they touch the drag link. So driver's side needs a fair amount of love, whereas the passenger side is pretty well fine. I did have to cut a big casting tab off the bottom of the block, and I've had to cut the kick down linkage off the trans. Plan for the exhaust is twin 3-inch, pretty well similar to what we did on Tom's ute, to the diff, and then 2.5 up and over the diff, just to give me a bit more clearance, because I might lower it a bit more than it already is. Alright, so we'll get going on that and show you how to build another stainless exhaust.
Time to light it up, mate.
I know. What are you doing there, Zach? Well, they're still hitting on the steering box. They need to go that way. So what we've done, got a bar hanging out the back with a ratchet strap to the hoist. Gonna heat them up and Tom's gonna crank on the ratchet strap.
just give you a bit of a look-see of where we're up to. We just want to try and explain that X-pipe a bit more to you guys. What there is, it's quite a large opening in between them. It's probably a little bit hard to see because we've got the camera in the way, but it's almost a direct 3-inch pass through between there and then back that way. So it'll actually balance the left and right banks of cylinders. So you'll get a really even pulse coming through here, and it'll pull this one through and vice versa, and it'll keep going all the way through the cycle. It's better than a conventional H-pipe, which you know is just 2 straight bits and a balance pipe. They tend to get a bit of a fart noise going on with them. But these have quite a crisp sound to them, we've found. Yeah. Doesn't have to be a huge opening, but just something to let the exhaust pass through evenly. This is obviously 3-inch system, and it will be 3-inch all the way to the diff, and 2.5 out. So yeah, that's what's going on so far.
Alright, so we've got the mufflers in, they're all tacked off, X-pipe's tacked off, straights back. So next step before we do our tailpipes is we're just going to make our hangers. So we've got some stainless flat bar here. What I'm going to do is nut cert into the floor, bolt them on, and then we'll weld some round bar down into a rubber hanger. Rubber hangers I ended up using or getting is just your typical factory OEM Commodore rubber. So 10mm holes, and that will just hang in there off the round bar. We'll just weld a bar across the top of that muffler there, and it will hold it up. Try and use as much OEM stuff as possible, just so if it does shit a hanger or something like that while we're away, it's easy to go down the local part shop and get. The more OEM stuff, the easier it is to replace on the road. Alright, so we'll nut set this in and weld some hangers up.
What's the trick with a nut cert, Zax?
Is there a trick?
Yeah, you don't pop it like a rivet.
Oh.
You just pull it till it goes tight.
Pull it till it goes tight, but not too tight.
Not tight enough so it doesn't spin.
Don't pull it so it rips the threads out of it.
Got those Allen key sections?
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't got your socket there, mate.
What do you mean it's not real critical?
So what I'm doing here is just using a finger linear band to mark out a fairly easy way of getting it square.
So we can cut it with the grinder?
Yeah. Someone doesn't have a bandsaw here.
That'd be you.
Yeah, me.
Tom told him to buy one weeks ago.
We thought we'd give you a bit of a rundown on flange types. So 2 different flanges, both 3-inch, don't mind the gasket. That's a V-band flange, and that's like a standard bolt together flange. Obviously there's 2 pieces. The actual gasket itself, which like I said is the wrong size for these 2, but it's good for a demonstration.
It's all Saxonade and stop.
Exactly. Typically you'd bolt those 2 together and it'd squish that gasket quite hard, like a sump gasket or a head gasket, similar. So that's how those work. They're pretty simple. What Zach has gone to use are V-band flanges. So they had 2 halves. They're actually male and female. As you can see, there's a bit of a step there, a bit of an indent there.
actually locate together and don't come apart. They're also indexed so the tube fits in there neat, like that. Sits up against that lip, can give you quite a nice weld. Yeah, the idea with going male and female flanges is they obviously don't slip. You can get standard ones which are flat, but when you go to put them together, getting them aligned perfectly is quite a mission. So you try and always buy flanges set like that. The clamp that holds these two together does up and pulls the two tight. They don't actually move once they're together and done up. There's no gasket. They are the gasket themselves, and they're reliant on a tight seal and good alignment. So that's what we've used for Zach's car. As you saw, I use bolt together flanges in my car because I don't need to go as fancy as Zach is. Yeah. What we've actually done with Zach's car too is we've put these on opposite ways. So on one side, on the muffler, there's a male flange. On the other side there is a female flange. So if Zach wants to put diff dumps on here, he only has to go and buy one more set of V-bands, put the corresponding pieces on, and he can change up the whole exhaust system pretty quick. So that's it.
What are you putting the bar on there for, Zach?
So just put the bar in here just to keep this a set distance. So when we weld on the inside here, when you weld, it's generally going to pull in the heat direction. So because they're a fixed flange, we don't want it to pull in. So put this bar in here, it'll keep that spacing there while Zach welds up the whole exhaust. We'll also put one down the back for the exact same reason. We did skip a bit of filming yesterday because I left the GoPro at home, but we've got both tailpipes made now. It's pretty well at the point where it just comes off and we fully weld it. So we end up getting a full 3-inch system all the way through the car, which would be awesome. Still undecided what to do with the fuel tank because we took it out yesterday as well. Filled it up with water and cut it. It's full of sludge and full of rust.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Alright, Saxon's going to weld the exhaust up, man, so I'm going to do brake line.
Time for the exhaust king to do his thing.
Let's say alright, so Tom just got upset with you for saying alright again. Anyway, so thanks to Saxon, we've had 2 weekends out on the hoist. We've managed to get the exhaust finished, if not anything else. Been a couple of setbacks with stuff not fitting, stuff not being right, and just stuff not working as the way we intended it. Stuff not turning up either. So yeah, full 3-inch system up over the diff, all the way out to the back. Our pacemakers are on, so they are 1 3/4 primary, 2-inch secondary. But as you can see on this driver's side, they took a bit of work to get in. So I've had to feed them in here, feed them around the bell housing, and beam them around the knuckle. So knuckle being the main one. Apparently they were never intended to be used with a 727, so here we are. Also managed to start to mock up the cable shift. Because The extractors are here. It leaves us no option to run factory shifters, shift linkages. So we've drilled and tapped a bracket here that holds the cable that runs on a bell crank that I've started to make, because the cable needs to pull and the box needs to be pushed. We had to put the bell crank in, so it's roughly 1:1. I think I need to line it up a little bit here more with the actual gear tab lever itself, and then we'll just make an adjustable linkage with some little M6 Heims between the two. But apart from that, there's a few little things I want to finish up, but getting close to Christmas now. What is the date today? End of November. Pretty well the end of November, nearly 1st of December.
It'll probably be early December by the time you see this.
Time to see this. So I've actually got a truck that I want to build over Christmas. Been gathering parts for it. It's gonna be a 3-week build. So the wagon's gonna go into a bit of a rest for a while. Me and Tom will be back on the ute itself next weekend. But yeah, stay tuned for the truck. We'll catch you on the next episode of Backyard Builds.
Jason Webb.
Yeah.
Do you pause it or?
No, it's recording.
You're
live,
You're gonna
mate.
edit it out, right?
No.
Yeah. So this is a shout out to Webby. He said I don't need to be on Backyard Builds more.
This is a shout out to Webby. He reckons I need to be on Backyard Builds more. So, till next time.